Hi everyone, welcome to MRU E-Learning powered by Mallareddy University. To myself, Vikram Kalwala from the Department of CSC, Freshman Engineering Department. Today, my session is on Angular installation, creating basic Angular applications. So let us begin with the session. Course overview, introduction to AngularJS. So what is AngularJS? So AngularJS is a JavaScript front-end framework. Advantages of AngularJS. Why use AngularJS? MVC architecture, model, view, controller architecture, where AngularJS is used. AngularJS installation, creating basic application. So let us start with the session. So introduction to AngularJS. A powerful JavaScript framework for building dynamic interactive web applications is AngularJS. So AngularJS is a very important because it is a front-end single page web application. So where we are implementing this AngularJS? AngularJS are implemented in all single page applications like Amazon, Paytm and so on. So where we are going to use this AngularJS? Let us start with the what is the AngularJS main? AngularJS is an open source JavaScript framework developed by Google. Google is introduced this AngularJS in the year 2009, but officially it was launched in the year 2010. Officially it was launched in the year 2010. So what I want to tell you here, before AngularJS developers manually updates web page whenever data changed. So whenever data is changed, the AngularJS automatically update. That's why here AngularJS follows two-way data binding concept. So AngularJS introduced two-way data binding. The UI and data stay in synchronization automatically. If data changes, the UI updates. UI changes, the data updates. Simple, powerful and beginner friendly. So what are the key advantages of AngularJS? Two-way data binding. So what is two-way data binding? Whenever user sends some data, so data will go to the first view. So view here, whenever data is interacting with the view will send to the controller, will have the send to next level of the, so here the data controls here and send to the model will have the next, it will have the link to the database. The model will have request, send the request to the database and database will have the response to the model. Again to the model it sent to the controller. So controller will send the request to the view. Then finally it will be able to view to the user. So first we will see what is, the MVC architecture is clean separation of concern, makes application more maintainable, testable and scalable for growing projects. So here the model view controller, model will have the behavior of the project. Then view will send to the request and then after that it will go to the send to the database as we discussed in previous. Dependency injection. Here the dependency injection is where the data transfers to the testability and reusability will be done easily in AngularJS. Custom directives, using HTML directives, HTML code, easy to understand to the developers, very understandable and easy to implement. Why use AngularJS? Data binding has been discussed previously. Dependency injection, directives, MVC architecture, reusable. AngularJS reduced code complexity dramatically. Instead of writing long JavaScript functions, use simple. For example, if I enter my name, so it will, every time it will reusable. So the text can be used very easily and it can be understood easily to the customer. So next, the first MVC architecture, first the user sends the request. User sends the request. Request to the controller and from that controller next it goes to the model. From model, the database, it sends the request to the database and asks to the database that data has to be retrieved. Whenever data is retrieved, then immediately model will send back to the controller. Now, whatever user want to view, it will send to the user request, as per the user request. For example, if you are requesting for Amazon any update, for example, you are requesting Amazon to open Samsung mobile you want to search. So whenever you want to search Amazon mobile, if you enter in, it just not completely, it will not refresh. It will just refresh that only the updations only it will do. So that is why we are using AngularJS. AngularJS is very easy to understand to the developers. Where AngularJS is used, educational projects, it can be used for the student projects, very easily understandable to the student, and internal tools like Power's company dashboards and admin panels. For that, there we can use legacy applications, maintain existing system built on AngularJS, and rapid prototypes can be used. These are the AngularJS where we are going to use. Career opportunities, a lot of career opportunities for AngularJS for high demand. Presently in 2025, we have a lot of advantages of using AngularJS and learning AngularJS, and we can easily get job easily by if you learn this AngularJS. So career growth, strong opportunities in front end, full stack development and application architecture roles, future ready, foundations for migrating to modern Angular versions can be done easily, and advancing your technical experiences. So real world application, single page application, as we discussed earlier that it is a single page application. Content management system we are using for real-time dashboards like LMS, learning methodologies where we are going to use. Social networking sites like Facebooks, Instagrams, trusted by industry leaders. The companies which are going to use, as we earlier discussed that Google was introduced this as a part of this. Google is Gmail, Google Talk, all this are using this AngularJS. Whenever we are trusting, the YouTube is also trusting this AngularJS, and Netflix, Upwork, even Paytm and some other companies also using AngularJS. Building your first AngularJS app. First, we need to set up our HTML structure. So HTML structure shows the behavior. So there we need to enter with the code that CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. So initialize the application. So first we need to initialize the application, create a controller. You need to create a controller components and everything. There are 4 components which will be created when we install AngularJS. The 4 components are component.js, component.ts.spec, component.ts, component. And directly it will include. So bind your data. So use ng model. So ng is here. It's a prefix with the Angular. It's a prefix for AngularJS. For input fields and double curly braces are used, displaying dynamic data real time. So industry applications, e-commerce. So like Amazon, Flipkart, Paytm, these all companies are using dynamic product catalogs, shopping carts. Whenever you want to add anything in the cart, it will be added. So no complete refreshing it will not take. So just it will only refresh the particular page only. So cart and real-time inventory management system. Healthcare, so patient portals, appointment orders, and medical data management applications. So fintech, so banking applications. It can also use like all mobile applications, education system like attendance management system, and student for asking students to conduct any kind of quizzes. So it can be easy for students and faculty too. So launch your AngularJS career. Front-end developer. AngularJS is a front-end developer. Full stack engineer. Freelancer consultant. It is a freelancer consultant. So first, front-end developer. Build responsive dynamic user interfaces for web application, has tech companies and startups. For full stack engineer, combine AngularJS with back-end technologies to create complete scalable web solutions. So it can be easily understand, and it's a full stack development. So what is full stack? It's a ready to use. So whatever we want, we can use it easily. So freelancer consultant, often it can be used for expertise to business needing custom web applications and migrations. So we can sit anywhere and we can do any kind of work with this AngularJS. So start building projects today, contribute to open source, and join the thriving AngularJS developers community. So installing setup AngularJS. So what we need to do before installing? First, we have to follow these steps while installing AngularJS into our personal computer or laptops. So first, we have to install Node.js. So we will see step-by-step process what to do. So first, we have to download it is an open source. You can enter in Google directly Node.js.org. So download your Node.js and enter the latest version. So latest version is version 24.11.1. So this version we will download first, and installation process we need to follow. So next we have to go with the AngularJS installation. After installing Node.js, we have to follow this step. So install AngularJS by typing the following command in the command prompt. First, we have to enter npm. Here, npm stands for Node Package Manager. It's a Node Package Manager. Install -g or -g also we can call. So @Angular CLI, command line interface. So install -g indicates it's a globally installing into your system. Next, we have to follow step 3. We have to go with create Angular app by typing the following in the command prompt window. So we have to create one folder called new my Angular app, or whatever name you want to consider, you can consider with that name. So I am considering with a new Angular app with the name my Angular app. So after entering that, we have to change the directory, we have to come to the command prompt, or directly you can go to the Visual Studio Code. So here, to change the directory, we have to enter cd space my Angular app, because I entered my Angular app is my project name. So step 5, to compile and run the app, do following steps. We have to follow these steps. cd my Angular app, we have to enter here. Then ngserve is the command where we are going to enter our. Then immediately the command prompt or Visual Studio Code will show a local server. That local host server code is localhost 4200. You can directly copy and paste it in the browser, or you can enter ng space hyphen open. Directly it will open into the default browser. So next, this folder or this window will be displayed on the screen whenever you open on ngserve or ngopen. So here you are going to see AngularJS application, which can be directly you can visible on screen. So to run AngularJS, we can use different kinds of text editors like Visual Studio Code, next Sublime, next Eclipse, and so on. So you can, for better to go understanding, or easy to understand, or easy to install, or easy to run the program, better use Visual Studio Code. It is very easy to understand to the developers too. So here, Visual Studio Code is a powerful free code editor that makes Angular development seamless and efficient. So to install Angular Visual Studio Code into your personal computer or laptop, you have to go to the Google and type there Visual Studio Code and enter. If it is a Windows operating system, please verify that if it is a Windows operating system or MacBook. So there you have to select your option and enter there whether it is a 64-bit or 128-bit or 256-bit memory, so that it can be installed easily and it can be downloaded and you can start running your Visual Studio Code. So here I am showing you how to run your Visual Studio Code. So these are the procedures we need to follow to run the Visual Studio Code. Your first Angular program, first when we started with after installation of Node.js and Angular into your system, then you can start your first application program. The first program, what you will build today. We are going to start with, you are creating one folder called Hello World. So here I'm creating a folder. Then what are the prerequisites to check? First we need to install Node.js, then Angular CLI form, Angular command line interface ready, then code editor is ready. These three things has to be ready. Then we have to start with what actually needs. So here first latest version of the Angular Node.js 18.13. Then we have to see whether the AngularJS is installed or not. Then which type of code editors we are using. Here we are using Visual Studio Code. So first all these three platforms are ready or not, we need to check. Then first create your first Angular project. Open terminal Visual Studio Code. In Visual Studio Code, we have to open terminal, and in terminal, it should be, by default, it will be in PowerShell prompt. So you have to change the PowerShell prompt to command prompt mode, because we are using Windows operating system. So if it is in Linux or any other platforms, so you have to change into PowerShell. Whether you are running in Windows operating system, here you have to check that whether it is a command prompt mode. So create project, then you have to create a project, ng new project. So you are creating a project that with the prefix with ng stands for Angular, here new project. Then navigate the project. So you have to navigate to the project. Then this next step, launch your application. Serve command. So here you have to enter serve -open or ng serve you need to type in. Then view your app. Then the pop-up top of menu will be displayed. Then 4 commands will be create your Angular there. New my first app. You are going to create your new my first app. So then CLI, the command line interface will ask you question. Routing select. So what is routing means? It will show the path. So where your Angular is installed. So if the path is selected, then wait while Angular installs all dependencies packages into node package.json. So here, then this takes 2 to 3 minutes, and then we have to enter to launch your application. Navigate to project. There you have to enter cd my first app. So cd changes the directory to my first app, and then finally whenever you enter, you have to start with the ng serve. So open in your browser. There you have to enter or copy this link and paste it in the browser, or directly serve -open if you type. There you are going to see your output. So then whenever you start with this, source/app contains your application code, including components, services, and modules. So app.component.ts, app.component.html, app.component.css. So app.component.ts stands for TypeScript, where you are going to enter your script HTML. In HTML, you will enter your HTML code, and in .css file, whatever styles you want to make, that styles specific to your component for customized appearance. For example, here you want to modify a component class, you are going to enter in app.component.my component.css file. You are going to import component from Angular component file with selectors, and whatever changes you want to do, that styles you can do in the component.css file. Next, update the template. You want to update any template, you have to do the changes in HTML file. So that HTML file, app.component.html, you have to update everything. So whatever you are doing, syntax display component properties in curly braces. So date is a pipe. So whenever you are using formats that can be used in that pipe. Next, data flows from component to template automatically. Next, add some styles. Whenever you want to add some styles, you can go with app.component.css files. So if you want to change color or padding, you want to do any background color changes, or you want to add any styles to your web page, so you can add it. So finally, you have learned, created an Angular project from scratch. So you have learned from what is the AngularJS. So AngularJS is a single page applications where you are going to implement it without any modifications or without any change the pages. It can be only change up to update only the web page. So modified companies, TypeScript code, updated HTML templates with data binding, applied custom CSS styling. So next we have seen what are the steps to follow for installation part. First we have to install with Node.js. Second, we have to go with the AngularJS installation. After installing the AngularJS, Visual Studio Code, all these 3 platforms are ready, we have to check. Then try creating a second component by using all the 4 components, and you build your first Angular application. Keep practicing and exploring Angular powerful features. So common setup issues, mainly you will feel that what are the common setup issues are PowerShell errors. So you will first, whenever you install Visual Studio Code, default it will show PowerShell, but you have to rechange into command prompt mode if it is Windows operating system. If it is in Linux operating system, let it be in PowerShell. So command not found. So problem ng command does not work. If it is not work, so you will see such kind of errors, that command not found. So first you have to see ng version is installed or not. To check that ng Angular is installed or not, you have to check ng space --- or -- version. So permission denied. So problem installed fails due to permissions. So you have to check run command prompt has administrator, then retry installation commands. So next, so if you have any kind of issues or doubts, you can contact me directly through my email. Thank you one and all.